very warm welcome. I'm really glad to be with all of you here today. It's an amazing opportunity to connect and to learn together. That's the most fun part of it, right? Okay. So before we start, I truly hope that this session adds to your learnings about the universe that's within us. And when we talk about the universe within us, or any other living organism around us that we see, we are essentially the study of that universe within us starts with the study of cells, the mystery boxes of life, as I would like to call them. So we are going to talk about that today. And although a lot of study has been going on with cells, fortunately and unfortunately, there's still a lot more to discover, and which gives us the opportunity to learn more every day and find out new things about these mystery boxes of life. Okay, so that is exactly what we are going to do today. And with that, while we unravel the mystery of the cellular life, we are also going to take a look at different working models and live demonstrations. And we are also going to play some fun quizzes, definitely. And we are going to interact and have fun with each other. So you can help me learn and I'll also help you learn. So that is how today's session is going to go. Okay, are you all excited? Can we see some thumbs up, some reactions, some emote icons here? Are we excited? Okay, fantastic. So let me begin. Can everyone see my screen? I hope yes. Okay, great. Is my screen visible to everyone? Okay, so as I said, cells are the mystery box of life, and fortunately or unfortunately, they cannot be seen with the naked eye, which is why we call them mysteries in the microscopic chambers. Now, today, as I said, that we'll have to start somewhere. So we are going to start by studying the different kinds of cells, okay? We are going to start with the most primitive or the prokaryotic cells, move on into the plant cells, talk about the animal cells, talk in detail about the cell membrane, because as you will see as the session proceeds, the cell membrane is kind of one of the most interesting features of the cell. You can think of it like that. And then we are going to talk about the different cell organelles, okay? Now, before we get there, let's first understand how did the first cell form? Like we know that cells come from pre-existing cells. Where did the first cell originate? All right, that's a very important question. So if you think about it, Earth as you see today was very different than Earth when it was formed. So as we know that the universe was formed 14.5 billion years ago, but the Earth is quite a child in that respect. It has been formed just 4.5 billion years ago. And back then, the atmosphere was very different from what it is now. So right now in today's atmosphere, you have nitrogen, there is oxygen, and there is hydrogen. But back then, we had methane, we had ammonia, we had hydrogen sulfide. But guess what? These were the right ingredients for cellular life to come into existence. Because when these ingredients in the gaseous clouds came together, and in the presence of lightning and UV radiation, that is when cellular life formed. But you must be thinking that neither Vitasta was there at that point in time, nor were we there. So why do we trust her? How does she know that cellular life came from gaseous clouds? Well, years of research led a few scientists, most notably Operant and Halden, to hypothesize that life in cellular form originated in the primordial soup. And so what they basically meant, I know I use a lot of technical terms there, but what they basically meant was that the Earth had the right amount of ingredients, okay, in the form of a soup that came together to form cells. Now, obviously, this is a hypothesis. We cannot believe that. So what happened is, fast forward many years. In the 1950s, two scientists, Miller and Urey, they did an experiment where they took a round bottom flask, a big round bottom flask. Think of this, something like this, okay? But all of this is a glass. And they added all the ingredients that were there in the early atmosphere, meaning ammonia, meaning nitrogen, meaning methane, yes, all of those. And they substituted the lightning with electric sparks. So there was lightning back in the day. So they substituted that with electric sparks and then some UV radiation. And bam, they found that amino acids were getting formed within the flask. Okay, amino acids were getting formed within the flask, which is the building block of life. Nucleic acids were getting formed, amino acids were getting formed, and then all of these were further coming together to form cells. Okay, and that is, but these cells were not like the cells how they are today. These were essentially the proto-cells, okay? So these are the different, as you can see, that these different compounds were getting formed slowly and slowly, okay? From the gaseous clouds, which further came together to form more complex compounds, which then came together to form the proto-cells as we know today. Now, why are the proto-cells so interesting? Because they showed the ability to do things that a living organism can do. That is, take in nutrients, then they could use this nutrient to liberate energy, just how we do even today. We take in food and liberate energy from that. Then they also had the ability to excrete out the waste materials, just how we do. And then most importantly, and this is what actually helped in the entire evolution process from the proto-cell to the modern day cell to the different organisms that we see around us, which is these proto-cells had the ability to create copies of themselves, okay? And slowly these proto-cells evolved further until unless we got the present day advanced cells, okay? Something that looks like this. If you can see here, something that looks like this. Okay, something like this. We are going to come to this. This is an interesting model. Okay, we are going to come to this. Okay. Now, why is the cell called the structural unit of life? Because, just give me a second, guys. I need to do a little bit of coordination here. Sarath, can we have you here?
Yes. Ma'am?
Yes.
Yes, my name is Shreyan Adhikari. I'm from Gems New Millennium School and I'm studying in year 11 right now. Sorry for joining in late. There was a bit of technical issue. What all happened right 10 minutes before the meeting started?
Okay, there is a meeting. The meeting is getting recorded. So we are going to share it with you. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Hi.
Anyone want?
Yeah. Sorry, I joined a bit late.
No issues, no issues. We are going to share this meeting is getting recorded. The session is getting recorded. So definitely you can watch it later. We'll share it with you. Is that okay?
Okay.
Also, we are going to have a question answer session after every now and then. So you can put in all your questions in the inbox then. Right? Does that work?
Okay.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Is my screen visible to everyone once again?
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so now why is the cell called the structural unit of life? Because, let me show you something here. Can you see these Scrabble pieces? Okay. Can you see the Scrabble pieces here? Is it visible, Sarath? So Sarath is here with me. Sarath is also from the Tutopiya team and he's helping me with the live demonstrations today. So, you cannot see it? Is it better now? Can you see the Scrabble pieces now?
Yes, I can see.
Great, great. Thank you so much for letting me know. Also, everyone, if you are not being able to see, I'm handling multiple devices here. Please feel free to unmute yourselves and tell me. Okay? Okay? Let me just see if Mahira, is my screen visible? Are the Scrabble pieces visible, Mahira?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes,
Okay.
Jasmine. Yes.
Like how do cells make up our body parts?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm going to show. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. So you can see
ma'am?
Scrabble. Yes.
Ma'am, you said that the normal body cell, it can make copies of themselves. Does that mean it can like go through mitosis?
Yes, exactly. It means that it can go through mitosis. So cells undergo two kinds of division. One is mitosis and one is meiosis. Mitosis is the body cells that undergo. So in mitosis, what happens is the chromosome number remains constant. Whereas when it comes to meiosis, the chromosome number gets halved. So which is why meiosis takes place only in during the formation of gametes. Okay?
Yes.
Okay,
That means
fantastic.
sperm cell and egg cell.
Yes, in the formation of sperm cell and egg cell. Okay. And also just a small request to everyone here. We are going to take questions every now and then. So it would be great if you could, keep putting your questions on the chat box, and I'm going to take them at one go and answer a couple of them every time. Okay? Cool? Cool with everyone? Are you guys enjoying?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am.
Is my screen visible, everyone? Is this screen visible? The one where models are there? Can you see the screen with models? Mahira?
Yes, Vitasta, we can.
You can, right? Okay, fantastic. Okay, so just how you see, there are Scrabble pieces here. Okay, now can you see how different letters come together to form words? Similarly, so it's like the cells are like the Scrabble pieces of your body, whereby they come together to form our entire body. How? Cells come together to form tissues. Come together. So actually I'm looking for another L. Yes. See? So I actually formed cells while trying to form words with letters. Anyway, so how letters come together to form words, cells come together to form tissues, tissues come together to form organs, organs further come together to form organ systems, and all these organ systems together form an individual. Okay, so which is why the cells are called the structural unit of life. And why are they called the functional unit? Because they are capable of performing all the functions that a living organism can perform. That means a single cell in itself can take in nutrition, can respire to produce energy, can excrete, can create copies of itself, it can metabolize, so it can basically perform all the functions that a living organism performs. So, which is why cell is the functional unit of life. And that makes cells the structural and the functional unit of life. Okay? Okay, great. Now, this is something that I wanted to show you all. This is about how from 3.8 billion years ago, the cells today are, right? So it was the first cell, was the protocell. Then we came across the eubacteria, the multicellular algae. Then came the advanced cell, okay? The amoeba is a very interesting organism. It's a single cell organism, but it is eukaryotic in nature. And we are going to have some fun with amoeba, guys. Just give me some time. We are going to have some fun with amoeba. Yes, Adan, you wanted to say something?
No.
Okay, great, fantastic. Okay, now we have our first question, and I need the answers on the chat box quickly. We have our first question here. Can we have the answers on the chat box, please?
You can do paint and I
Answers on the chat box, please.
and you will take play.
B. Everyone has said option B, protocells. Okay, great, protocells. Option B, very, very interactive audience. I'm loving this. Okay, option B, great. Should we wait for some more responses? Okay, so yes, great. So yes, the answer is option B, protocells. Great. So now that we have learned about cells, okay, let's talk a bit about its discovery. Okay, how was cells discovered? Now, usually we talk about Anton von Leeuwenhoek and Robert Hooke, but today I'm going to talk about another person whom I think most of you have not heard about, or maybe you have heard about it. You can tell me in the chat box again. His name is Zacharias Janssen, okay? He was a lens maker, and he was also the first person who is known to have created the compound microscope and also the first telescope, okay? And once this... Yes, Shai?
My name is Sheikh Adil Islam. I'm in 5th grade. I study in Alhorn High School. It is the person who invented the microscope and telescope. Like, which country is he from?
He's from Germany. Is that okay? So yes, so Zacharias Janssen, and what he did was, he created, his compound microscope actually became the talk of the science town, and every scientist wanted to try their hands on it, okay? And so when this news spread that people can create microscopes which can actually magnify very, very small objects, so a lot of scientists wanted to try their hands on it, but there was this one Dutch scientist whose name was Anton von Leeuwenhoek. And he, instead of buying this compound microscope, he made his own microscope with sunglass lenses. And if you look at his microscope, it looked somewhat like the paddle of a boat. And if you place those two side by side, I bet it would have created a very cool sunglass, cool enough to create a fashion statement back in the day. And Anton von Leeuwenhoek, he started looking at different things under the microscope, under his microscope, including the plaque on his teeth. And back then, I did a little bit of research. I understood that people never brushed their teeth back then, which means he looked at lots of wriggling bacteria under the microscope, right? And he called them animalcules. And while he was looking at these different things under the microscope, he wrote a letter to one of his friends, okay, who was there in London, whose name was Robert Hooke. Now, Robert Hooke was kind of a jack of all trades, sometimes doing physics, sometimes doing chemistry, and sometimes putting his feet into biology. Robert Hooke, inspired by Anton von Leeuwenhoek, he also created his own microscope that looked somewhat like this. And with this microscope, he actually tried observing the cork of tree. You know, the outer bark of tree, like the cork. He made thin slices of the cork and observed it under the microscope. And he saw, what did he see? He saw something like this. Can you see? Look at the compartments here in the cork. This looked like the compartments in the monasteries where monks live. And that is... Yes?
Is that thing stomata?
No, dear. This is not the stomata. So this is Hooke's observation under the microscope. Okay, so when...
And the first cell which Robert Hooke found was the onion cell, right?
No, it was not the onion cell, dear. It was the cork cell. So you have seen the plants, right, where they have a very thick bark outside, and he took the bark and he made slices of it. Like if you have seen, lots of drinks have cork caps. He took that, he made a slice of it and observed it under the microscope. When he observed it, he saw this.
Okay, so like xylem, like the xylem vessels, you think?
So see, yes, you're right. So basically, cork is very matured, the xylem vessel with the secondary deposition of lignin and suberin, right? So basically what he observed was dead cells, and it looked somewhat like this. As you can see, the cells have a very thick border. These are the depositions of cellulose and lignin. Okay, and when he looked into these cells, it took him, it looked like these are the compartments in monasteries where monks lived, and that is where the name cell came from. So he is the one who named the cells. Okay, so Anton von Leeuwenhoek was the one to see cells for the first time. So if the question is who saw the first living cell, it's Anton von Leeuwenhoek, because Robert Hooke saw a dead cell, but who named cells? It's Robert Hooke. Okay, great, fantastic. Okay, now we are going to move on to the next question, and it's time to put your answers in the chat box.
And ma'am, it says it says in Google and also in our textbooks, it says that Robert Hooke was he is the one who discovered the first cell.
Yes, a lot of places say that. So the thing is that he discovered cells because he was the first one to call them cells. Anton von Leeuwenhoek, although he observed these living things under the microscope, he really didn't know them as cells. He called them as animalcules, as I just mentioned, because he saw the fluff of his teeth and he saw bacteria there, and he didn't know what they were. To him, it was like wriggling creatures. So he was not the one who called it cells. So which is why books often say that, he coined the name cell, right, Mera? Yes, good. Okay. Are we having the answers in the chat box, everyone, for the question that I just mentioned? Did you guys see the question? This is the question. Okay. Are we not having any answers in the chat box for this one? Is my screen with? Sorry. Yes, Adan?
It's B.
Yes, it's B. It's B. Great. Yeah. Oh, I had already shown the answer. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, we have another question. Just a second. Okay, next question. Answers in the chat box, please. Okay. Manish, can you let me know if the chat box is filled? Has everyone answered? I would need some assistance here and there because I'm unable to see everything on screen. So I'm sorry, guys, if there is some confusion there. Okay. So observe dead cock cells. Fantastic. I think everyone has answered correctly, right? Great. Okay. Now, after the cells were discovered, there was some confusion about whether all organisms were composed of cells or where do cells come from. So that is when in Germany, there were two scientists, namely Schleiden and Schwann, who started their research. Schleiden was a botanist, whereas Schwann was a zoologist. So Schleiden was looking at different plants under the microscope, whereas Schwann was looking at different animal organs under the microscope. And both of them found that plants are made up of cells, and Schwann found that animals are made up of cells. So that is where the first two postulates of cell theory was formed, which are all plants are made up of cells and all animals are made up of cells. Now, the third postulate came much later when there was a fight between Schleiden and Schwann. So Schwann believed that cells came from pre-existing cells, but he was unable to convince Schleiden. That's when another scientist named Robert Virchow came into the picture. And he said that it has been scientifically proven that cells come from pre-existing cells because someone has seen it under the microscope, like someone has seen cells dividing under the microscope. And later on, we understood that Virchow was not the one who came up with the theory originally. He actually kind of borrowed it without permission from another scientist, Robert Rebec, if I'm not wrong of the name. Yes, so his research was a borrowed research. Okay, I think that is something new that we learned today. Okay, now time for the next question.
I believe the answer is Schwann.
Who proposed? Yes, the answer is Schwann. Right, exactly. Okay, fantastic. Everyone is answering all the questions correctly today. Great, great. I'm so happy and so
Ma'am,
proud.
I didn't understand this question. Wait, what did Schwann propose that animals are made up of cells? Could you explain that to me, please?
Okay, so basically Schwann was a zoologist and he was looking at different animal organs under the, as you know, zoologists work with animals. They cut up animals, take out their organs. And he was looking at a lot of the sections of these organs under the microscope. And he found out that all these organs were made up of similar compartments, which are cells, animal cells. So he is the one who proposed that all animals are made up of cells. Whereas Schleiden proposed the same about plants. Is that clear now, Shreyan?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for your questions, Shreyan. Love answering those.
Thanks, ma'am.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. Now, based on the number of cells, okay, organisms can be of two types. Now, this is something that we all kind of know. There can be unicellular organisms and there can be multicellular organisms. Unicellular, meaning they're made up of one cell. Multicellular, made up of many cells. But my question to you is, and for this, I would want you to think a bit and answer. My question for you is, why can't we multicellular organisms be made up of one single large cell? Why do we need to be made up of so many cells? Okay, while you think on that, I'm going to answer the question with a demonstration that too. But while you think on that, let me take you and let me help you learn a bit about the different varieties of cells. So as you can see, there is a whole new world of cells. As I said, there's a universe out there. It's a microscopic universe where cells come in different sizes and different shapes. Okay? And the size of cell and its shape, both of it is dependent on its function. Okay? We are going to come and explain how it is dependent on its function. But before that, do we have the answer to this question? Why can't we have one giant cell instead of trillions of cells? So, you know, the human beings are made up of 30 trillion cells. So why can't we just have one large cell? Okay?
Ma'am,
Yes.
it's because cells protect us from diseases, and diseases can like destroy our cells. Like one big cell is not enough to fight small diseases.
Okay. We are going to come back to the answer. What is everyone saying? Let me look at the chat a bit. Because our surface area to volume ratio would be too small. Yes, exactly. This is the correct answer, Sharanya. I'm going to explain this. This is fantastic. Sharanya, would you like to tell us a bit about this? Do you want to explain this concept to us? I can help you with some props here. Do you want to explain this concept to us, Sharanya?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, please go ahead. Tell me a bit about yourself first. Where are you from?
I'm from India. I'm living in the UAE currently.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, Sharanya, go ahead. Let us all hear your explanation. I think you gave the absolutely correct answer.
So for unicellular organisms, they're quite small, so they have a large surface area relative to their volume, so like compared to their volume. So they can exchange like nutrients and oxygen just through their surface, through diffusion, and that's enough. But for us, our needs are greater, so we need more of those substances. So we can't really do that efficiently through diffusion.
Beautifully explained, Sharanya. Beautifully explained. I think I'm just going to add on to this explanation a bit with some live demonstrations that I have here. Can you see the boxes in my hands? Can you all see the boxes in my hands? I hope you can. Okay.
Yes.
So now, Sarath, can you help me a bit here with showing the boxes to everyone? Can we just place the camera in a way that we can see the boxes? And Mahira, could you please tell me if all the boxes are seen? Just give me a thumbs up, Mahira.
Yes, we can.
Yes? Okay, fantastic. Okay. Let's look at this screen while I give you the explanation, okay? So this is one large box and it's a cube, okay? Now let's say this is one large cell, okay? And it has a side of 2 centimeters. So what would its volume be? 2 into 2 into 2, 8 centimeter cube, right? And what would its surface area be? One surface has a area of 4 centimeters square because 2 into 2. And for 6 surfaces, it is 6 into 4 centimeters square. It is 24 centimeters square. So what is the surface area to volume ratio here? It is 3:1. Everyone got it? Give me a thumbs up on the chat if you have gotten it. Give me a thumbs up on the chat. Manish, are we getting thumbs up on the chat here? Great, fantastic.
I got it, miss.
Yes. Now, let's take a look at the smaller cells. Okay. Now, if I break up this cube, into smaller cells, how many cells will I get? I will get 8 cells, right? I've broken up this cube into smaller cells, so I'll get 8 cells here. Okay, these are all DIY, so there is some measurement errors here and there. Do not mind that, please. So we are going to get 8 boxes. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I've already typed in another example, another explanation for your question. Why not having one giant cell? Can you just check if that's also valid?
Yeah, sure. I will check it. I'll check it. Just give me a second. Let me just check it. Yes, absolutely. We are going to come to this. So you have given a final answer. This is going to be a conclusion. Absolutely, Shreyan. Thank you so much. Okay. Now these are the. Yes, thank you. Thanks a lot, Shreyan. Now, these are the smaller cells, okay? Now, each of these has a side of 1 centimeter. So, the volume will be 1 into 1 into 1 centimeter cube. What would be the surface area? Okay, what would be the surface area? It would be 1 into 1 for one surface. So, for 6 surfaces, it's going to be 6 centimeter squares, okay? Now, we have 8 cubes. So the total volume would be 8 into 1 centimeter cube. So 8 centimeter cube. But total surface area would be 8 into 6 centimeter square. That is 48 centimeter square. Right? So what is the surface area to volume ratio here? It is 6:1. And a higher surface area to volume ratio means that the cell can exchange substances more easily and more readily. It can take in nutrients better. It can take in oxygen better, just how Shreyan mentioned. It will help in facilitate better exchange of oxygen, other gases, nutrients, etc. Okay, great, fantastic. Thank you so much, Sarath. Thanks a lot. Okay, moving on. Okay, moving on, we have a question here. Okay, again, Manish is going to tell me if everyone has answered, and then we are going to move on.
I believe the answer is mycoplasma.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Can anyone tell me what is the size of a mycoplasma average? Any idea? And one special characteristic about mycoplasma? Has everyone answered? Okay, it's C from everyone. Great, great. Okay, so mycoplasma, the special feature about mycoplasma, so the size of mycoplasma is something between 0.1 to 0.2 micrometers. That is 0.1 into 10 to the power minus 6 meters. That small it is, okay? And the special feature about mycoplasma is it has a fried egg-like appearance, okay? So these are also called as PPLO organisms. pleuropneumonia-like organisms because they do not have a definite shape and their shape keeps on changing.